Many people are hesitant to assign emotions to animals and invertebrates in particular because they look so much different than us. Bees have wings and 6 legs, so to think about them in terms of how we are internally is a big leap. There's a lot to be learned from invertebrates concerning emotions in general. So my name is Clint Perry, and I'm a postdoctoral research fellow at Queen Mary University of London, and I study very tiny brains, in particular bumblebee brains. Now, we understand emotions best by those subjective feelings, those internal feelings that we have, but we can't ask animals, they can't talk, they can't give us a verbal report of how they're feeling. We adapt human psychology experiments in order to get at those emotions and also infer that subjective state. So in everyday life, our emotions affect the way we make decisions and how we view things. Say we go to a party and we're approached by someone, and leading up to that event, I've had a great day and I'm in a positive emotional state. Well, I might view that interaction positively. But if we had previously had a kind of a depressing day or a stressful day, we might view that same person at that same party, same event, much more negatively. And this is what we call a judgment bias as a result of our emotional states. Most studies in emotions, both in humans and non-human animals, look at negative emotions. We wanted to look at a positive emotional state in the first time in an invertebrate species. We had thought about petting the bees, but we ended up settling on food reward because that really works for us and made the most sense for bees as well. So first we trained them to a blue placard, to find reward at that blue placard at the back of an arena. And they'd quickly learn to find the reward and would approach that. And separately they would find no reward at the back of a green placard. They'd learn to quickly go to the blue placard and to avoid or take a long time to go to the green placard. After learning this difference, we'd give them an ambiguous color, and we would measure the time they would take to approach this. Half the bees would get a really tiny droplet of sugar reward before they went in, and half the bees would just wait for several seconds. And what we found was the bees that got that reward took much less time to approach that ambiguous stimulus, indicating that this sweet reward induced some type of positive emotional state. We also wanted to know what the underlying mechanisms of this induced positive emotional state might be. And to do that, we tried to block some of the neurochemicals in the brain and run through the same experiments. We ended up finding that when we blocked dopamine, the changes that we saw in response to this little sugar reward disappeared, indicating that dopamine also plays a potential role in emotional states in bumblebees. When we see or realize that animals have certain cognitive capabilities, we tend to value them a bit more. I believe our work and others' work suggests that we often do underestimate the emotional capabilities of invertebrates.